I've spoken numerous times to Staffordshire Police, other police forces, who are really banging their heads against a brick wall because they want to do stuff, but Twitter aren't furnishing them with the information. And all it's doing is providing a vacuum for anti-Semitic abuse, racist abuse, homophobic abuse, sexist abuse, anti-disability abuse, and it is quite frankly illegal. As much as anything.
It's in Twitter's rules, which everybody has to sign up to, even they may not read them at the time, but it's in there. So you may not publish or post direct specific threats of violence against others. You certainly had that. You may not engage in targeted abuse or harassment. You've certainly had some of that. When content is reported to us and found to be in breach of our rules, we can take a range of actions from warning a user to suspending an account. Well, you've let them know, presumably. Have they suspended people's accounts?
No, and this is one of the problems. There are people daily complaining and reporting to police, but even now the account procedure there are accounts that I've seen that have 2 or 3 accounts, so that one will be suspended, they will go to the next one. One of the fundamental problems for me is age verification. The age user range of Twitter has gone down dramatically, and I'm seeing gangs of kids from 10 to 18 goaded by adults to make racist and homophobic and sexist insults on Twitter. So Twitter need to deal with this.
Okay, so what do you do when, I mean, you know, if anybody looks, they can see the kind of messages.
Now, yeah.
I'm not going to repeat them because they are unrepeatable, actually. What do you do when you receive messages like that? Because Twitter does have, you know, where you can block people and report spam. So what happens when you...
I retweet. Because it's a thorny issue, because some people say it's fueling the flames, but I don't choose to, on other people's behalf, racially abuse me. I retweet, I block, I report, and if it is sufficiently threatening, I will go to the police.
Okay, so what happens when you block and report? What's the sort of response you get? Do you get any response from Twitter? Have you tried to talk to Twitter?
Of course, I have. A former colleague who's a journalist who was at the BBC, now works for Twitter. And they've asked me over a number of years, because I've been an active user for 6 years, my thoughts and input on various tools and mechanisms. But nothing seems to be done. The fact that Twitter are now hiding behind, we don't discuss individual cases.
And that's the statement they've given us this morning. I must read it out. It says, we do not comment, and you said right, on individual accounts for privacy and security reasons, and we have tried to get in touch with them as well.
Yeah, but your privacy is, you've sort of
500,000 people.
Anyway,
exactly, 500,000 people. I have no problem with people discussing factual things about me on Twitter. Yeah. If it's illegal, I reserve the right as a United Kingdom citizen to live within the laws of the United Kingdom, and so should Twitter.
What's the impact of all this been on you personally?
Well, it's quite horrific. I mean, I was up late last night. Today's my birthday, and I would rather not be here. Yeah. But I'm going to go around media outlets to try and talk about this issue. I've had plenty of support from people like Danny Baker, people like Ricky Gervais, who's got 5.5 million Twitter followers. Is that all people want to do? And I'm getting young kids that are being bullied that are tweeting me, men, women, etc., etc. Gay and lesbian people that are tweeting me saying that they're getting horrific abuse. Can Twitter in the UK live within the laws of the United Kingdom like we would have to do as broadcasters? So
much to ask you. I mean, you're not alone. I mean, Sky Sports are condemning unacceptable and offensive abuse, it says, of Beth Tweddle during a Q&A system. What do you say to people who just say, well, Stan, why don't you just not go on Twitter?
Because I engage, I've been on it 6 years now, and like I say, it's a fantastic tool to be able to use to engage in my sport, football, with football fans. If you disagree with the point that I make, if we disagree, sat on the sofa here, absolutely fine. But I shouldn't be racially abused for it. I shouldn't have somebody that tweets me 2 days ago saying I'm going to turn up at your house and murder you. I mean, this is just sheer lunacy, and Twitter at the moment, I don't think they know what to do. They've had a recent New York Stock Exchange float, which essentially monetises users. The more users you have, the more the company is worth. Age verification, proper verification tools, proper blocking tools. Twitter need to